Hello and welcome. I'm supposed to inform you, first of all, that MCAT is filming this and you're on TV. So you don't have to sign a permission slip, but you just have to know. This reading tonight began, this group of people writing poetry and reading their work began a few years ago when Daryl Furtkamp, who works at Opportunity Resources, asked me if I would like to do a poetry writing class with some of the folks at Opportunity. And I said I would, and I had the best time imaginable. A few years went by, and Janet Zupan was kind enough to offer us some of the money from Hellgate Writers to run this class again. So Karen Schalm, who's a member of the Missoula Writing Collaborative, which is an organization that puts writers in the classroom, started the class, and there is a table back there with an anthology on it with photographs of everyone and their work for you to look at. And let's see, I think that this is going to be a great night, and thanks everyone for coming. Am I missing anything, Karen?
I'll catch up with you too.
Okay, great, thanks. That thing.
Thanks, Cheryl. Well, it's been quite an honor for me to be able to teach this class. We have quite a group of talented writers, and it wouldn't have happened without Cheryl and Janet and Daryl's vision, so thanks again for that. I see people clapping, especially the students. First of all, we had a lot of fun in this class. We played games like Two Truths and a Lie, Telephone, Questions and Answers, poetry game, indeed. And we turned a lot of these games into poems. We did things like collage Valentines. You'll see most of the students, I think all of them are wearing their tie-dye poetry t-shirts, which we had a real good time doing. This anthology that I put together was probably for the first time in my life, there's no filler poems. You know, everyone had incredible work to fill up 2 pages. So I would love for people to look at it, and then please do return them, because we've just made enough for all the volunteers and students and staff. So I'd like to just go ahead and start with the students. They have such great work, so let's hear from them. Trenny Brown's first.
Thanks for all the stuff you did for everybody. We sure appreciate it. It was a lot of fun for us too, you know. Everybody in this room really appreciate everything you did, you know, especially me, and I just like to thank you again for doing that to us, you know. I was reading some of the stuff I wrote. It's kind of silly. I don't know if you people think it's silly or not, but just some of the stuff in my younger life and how my life went on and stuff like that, you know. I remember when I was a kid going to Hamilton to buy groceries with my mother. She drove a 1939 Packard, and people now think, oh boy, I don't know junk that was. It was real fast back in them days, you know. It had a big V8 in it, and every time she'd pull away, she'd squeal the tires, and people looked at her like, wow, you know, let's go race her, you know, and she just embarrassed her to death to think that she did that, you know. It's kind of weird, you know. And I used to be a truck driver. I used to drive a truck from Canada back to Mexico and place around. I'd haul fruit one way and then grain out of there back home. And that was kind of fun doing that, you know. My wife and son used to go with me a lot in the truck, and they had a good time doing that, you know. He thought it was fun to blow the air horn at people on the road and just scare the hell out of them, you know, as he's going down the road. He just loud, blow on the air horns, you know, and people just run up the road and wow, you know. He thought that was real neat, you know, but I suppose some places they give you a ticket for that, I guess, you know. Something to do about losing life or something, I don't know what they're talking about, but it's kind of strange how people think, you know. When I used to live at home with my mothers, I used to enjoy getting up in the morning and smelling the breakfast that she'd always have waiting for us on the table, to the floor, you know. And there was 8 boys in our family and 1 girl, you know, so just, you know, I don't know how she fit in there, but she was the second to last one, you know. for a long time we thought she was a boy, until she grew up and found out she was a girl, She couldn't play in boys' football games just like she used to, And we just, I don't know, it just didn't make sense, She became a woman, So, I don't know, it's strange how that happens, I used to like I got something about my truck. I said, going inside my truck is like going inside a lion. You feel the muscle, blood, and power of that thing just ever surge, you felt it in your bones, just had a great big motor in my truck, it's just a lot of fun to drive, so. Anyway, I guess that's about all I gotta say, but I sure appreciate everything you've done for us. It's really nice of you guys. You've done a good job. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Trenny. We're going to go in alphabetical order. So our next reader tonight is Lisa DeLanne. Oh, Lisa is being assisted by our wonderful volunteer, Karina. Thanks.
You're welcome. Hello. I just wanted to iterate all these poems Lisa wrote. We're doing this one first.
Right.
Okay? Okay. Her first poem is called My Soul Is. My soul is the wind, my eyes are the moon. My soul is the rain, my body is the river. It's to run, and it eats carrots. My fingers are my thoughts. My soul is stressed out. I get tired of it when people stress me out. My soul is the eagle. It flies to catch fish. My soul likes to sleep. It dreams about my feelings and my happiness. The next poem is called The Parade. It snowed on St. Patrick's Day. I went out to dinner, and then after dinner, it snowed again. I went to McDonald's. I heard the snow blowing really hard. Brr. Tiffany, Stacy, my mom, Nancy DeChamp, and I were in the parade. Everybody was waving at us. I'm half Irish, and my sister's half English. I'm Norwegian, Irish, English, Dutch, and Swedish. Everybody was laughing, and they were waving at me. I was on the news last night. You should have seen it. I called my sister on the phone in Portland and had a little talk. Told her what was happening in Montana. My sister has strep throat. She's contagious. She only talks to me once in a while when she doesn't feel well. The next poem is called Getting Lost. Costco is a big building that I got lost in. Have you ever noticed that when you get lost, nobody finds you? I waited for my mom to find me. I was playing cat and mouse in the vegetable aisle. And the last poem I'm going to read. I am an elephant. The baby inside is kicking its mom. Elephants are smart. They also fight for mates. In Africa, I eat trees, grass, bark, hay, and apples. I weigh a ton. Poachers sell elephant tusks, but our hides are wasted away. I am overprotective of my baby. Poachers scare me when I eat. I do not like hunters. I will crush them. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lisa and Karina. Now, David Faust didn't make it home. Looking out there. Okay. Well, maybe if he comes late, we'll fit him in. So next we have Daniel Lavelle, and Jennifer is going to be helping Daniel.
Did you want to turn around anymore? Or are you being too shy? first poem is untitled. And here it goes. Sometimes my lungs at night sound like two freight trains heading for each other on the same track, ready to crash into each other and derail. Next poem is also entitled, starts off, I used to be cool, but now I'm a poor cripple. I used to be as dumb as a rock, but now I'm found like a prayer. I used to be interested, but now I'm only interesting. But now I'm really interesting. I used to be shy, but now I'm outgoing. I used to be silly, but now I'm sillier. I used to be light, but now I'm burned out like a coal. And the next one's called Taking Trips. It says, I took a trip to Yellowstone Park one time. It was the worst I'd ever been on. The manager of the group home yelled at me the whole way there and back. The only thing that was good about this trip was lunch and coffee breaks. We didn't see any bears. We saw bison, lots of bison. It was after the forest fires. And the next group of poems are called I Remember poems. I remember going to rummage sales with my mom. She would put out a big table of antiques. This place was a bar with a large dance hall where they would put all of the antiques and miscellaneous items. And in this kitchen there was a refrigerator. And in that refrigerator there was a keg of beer. My brother and me would help ourselves. I remember it would cost $1 to set up the table of antiques. Then you'd go from table to table and buy what you desired. I remember a white husky. He had one blue eye. And I remember one time I had a book of matches and singed the dog's hair. I felt so bad. So bad. I remember going to school. There was a railroad and we used to put pennies on the track. That was some of my childhood memories. Do you want me to stop? There's only one more. Okay, I'll read the last one. It says, I remember going to school in 4th grade. I remember thinking only 8 more years. And then 6th grade, and then 7th grade. I remember this. I will never forget that.
Now, we're going to go to Michael Mencken Marcus McCarthy. Come on up, Michael.
There was a fellow named Michael Mencken Marcus McCarthy. Dear, miraculously irritating, casually hilarious, yet whom could you become if only you would put our fallacy to work? Perhaps that one step beyond would finally be found by 2 of us. I do believe we have discovered Never Never Land. Love, Michael. I used to be a quiet kid. Now I teach. Not a poet, so now I can do this. At times it seems so natural being lost. Writing for me is one of the most natural areas in which I feel lost. I used to be a student, but now I have become a professional student. There's a little irony to that, actually. People used to laugh at me going to the university
instead of just the usual 4 years. And finally, I had been there for so long that people used to say, "When are you going to quit school?" And I said, "I'm not. I'm a professional student." So that's where a joke really started going around campus about me. My soul is a personal infinity, refusing to be defined. And I think that's a very important part of me, is I'm a person who really can't be defined by most people. I'm an existentialist. I'm a social worker. I'm an artist. And I'm a social worker. And those are all my areas of study. And my basic areas where I've got majors and things like that in it. So I'm overly educated as to what's happened to me, and you might say I'm so sick because I've got myself so educated. And I can laugh at it myself. And I can remember once when I was about 4 years old, I said to my dad, once when we were walking up around campus, we had just moved here, I said, "Now, I want to go to school. I want to go to school." And he said, "Okay." He says, "Now, if you finish kindergarten, and you have to go 2 years because of your age, and then you have 8 years of grades. You have 2 years of kindergarten because of your age," is what it was. And then you have 8 years of grade school. And then you have 4 years of high school. Well, how many years of school is that to begin with? That's at least 12 years of school. And then, he says, then if you could do that, you come up here for the rest of your life. And that's how my life has been. And I love school. I can't think of anything else. If I had to go someplace else, I think I'd jump off a bridge. No kidding. If I can have somebody come in and say, "Here's a kid that's just impossible. Nobody can stand him. Come on. Calm down now. Let's work with him." There I am, working with the kid that they're going to kick out of school in a few weeks. "What are you doing?" "Why? What's wrong?" "This kid wants to go to school. He's coming alive. Or she's coming alive. Now, what is it about me that can do that to people? Because I don't have the brains. I can't go to school. My folks have been told that. I've been told that over a special clinic in Seattle. And yet I've got my math. I've got I've got my BA. I've got a BS. I've got an MA now. driving me nuts. So you sent me over to Warm Springs? At least that would be someplace to go. Maybe I'd be able to do something for somebody and get paid. Because right now I'm on Social Security. Everybody else is paying for me.
Thanks, Michael. And our next reader is Tiffany Christina Marr, who has an autobiographical piece to read. Come on up, Tiffany.
My poem is Mark Twain. I feel I have a bunch of hearts inside me. It looks like they are bright red all around me. Mark, you are a sweet thing to me, like a box of rich chocolates with different flavors: coconut-covered chocolate, cherry-covered cream chocolate, walnut-covered chocolate. Pen pal, Mark Twain. Can you be my Valentine? You are roses are red, violets are blue, as sweet and rich as you, and guns and roses. Whiz, do you feel like you are alone in the pen all day? Your eyes are bright and blue and can see a bunch of hens with ham hocks with red on top of their heads. I hope you get home before Valentine's Day. There is a sweet young girl of mine that is deaf. She needs your help with the phone. The kind of deaf people use. You can be good for the deaf. You can speak in deaf, so Mary Bruce can understand you. You are such a pretty dog for Mary Bruce. If she can have a pet where she is living in a private home, you will be a good one. I am a woman that likes to sleep with my sweetheart and have some fun. I have blonde hair, straight eyebrows. I have hazel green eyes. I like to dress like a fashion model. I wear nice shoes. I think I shower to keep me clean and smell good, so I won't go to work and smell bad. I feel sad when I don't get to see my sweetheart very much like I should. I feel good when I do the new contract, putting gas strips in the mug and staple them together. And I do it fast, and I do it right, the way my supervisor wants it to be done. I am a volunteer to go to the Humane Society to walk the dogs. I check what dog to take out. We don't take the dogs with the red tags on the cages. I want to spend a lot of time with the cats and hold them in my arms and play with them. I want Stacy to come along so she can get a chance to see what I do with the leashes. There's a trick to it, putting the leash through the metal circle. I want to call the neighbor's cats over, Floyd, Libby, Koska. They are like me. Emily is such a good group home manager. I think Emily and Daryl look like a good couple, living together. They could have a dog. The end. My next poem is when my mom was in high school. Susan Ann Wirtz went to 12th grade when she met William Robert Bill Maher in high school and went on a date when she went to my dad's house and they slept together when my mom was pregnant with me. She had me early in the morning at 4:15. I was so small and I was born immature. A baby girl weighed 2 pounds and 3 ounces and was only 9 inches long. My mom and dad had a big house, a 3-bedroom house. It looked like a motel. My mom and dad took a picture of Skipper, the captain, on Gilligan's Island. They took me to the fair when I was a year old. We rode on the Ferris wheel. When my dad was home with me and my mom went to work, so my dad took care of me alone. When my mom came home from work, my dad yelled at her and smacked her in the face. When mom went to work again, then when she came home from work, I fell and hit my head on the coffee table, and my dad called. My grandpa worked over to the house and rushed me to the emergency room, and I got 10 stitches on my forehead. Then me and my mom went to the baseball game and watched my dad play baseball. The ball came right through the fence and hit me. My forehead busted open and I got 5 stitches. Then I was 18 months old. My mom left my dad. My dad refused to pay a penny for child support. My dad abused my mom. She wanted to get her life better, so she went back home with her mom in Columbus, Ohio. When she met my second dad and my sister and brother, I went to school at Lexington Elementary School. My stepdad is Japanese and Chinese. When we moved to Great Falls in 1979, the year my sister was born at 8:20 in the morning, my sister was in kindergarten and my mom had my brother. He was born at 9:15. I got to hold him when I went to Lewis and Clark Elementary School and East Middle School. When I was older, I went to my CMR High School. I graduated in 1993, March 31st, 1993. When my stepdad was at home with me, Ben, Jade, and I went to a football game at Great Falls High School with Kelly Stokes. My mom was on a date, and my dad stayed home. When I came home from the game, I went to bed and I heard this boom. I saw my dad push my mom down and sliced her in the back, and she was bleeding, and my dad got cut on his head. I went to the kitchen and called 911 and told them my mom had been stabbed in the back and was bleeding all over her robe. She was losing a lot of blood and went to the hospital to get stitches and come home. I told my stepdad to quit it. Dad, I don't like that. Stop hurting my mom. Then she dashed out the door and ran in the back of the house and hit the window in the basement. I saw the police coming in the house when my mom was remarried at Christmas. She married David Howard Hoffmeyer, and my mom was upstairs bouncing up and down in the bedroom and laughing so loud. My mom and me went to the grocery store and brought the groceries in, and my mom almost collapsed because she was afraid of losing my baby sister. She had not eaten for days. She went to the hospital and had her at 8:30 in the morning. We went to Minot, North Dakota to see my Uncle Dan and Josh and had Christmas together. We had a birthday cake on my 16th birthday. Tiffany Christina Martin was born in Phoenix, Arizona. She was living in Montana for 8 years. She volunteers at the Humane Society to walk the dogs. Her favorite color is red. Her favorite cereal are Trix and Sugar Smacks. And then when I was 18 months old, my mom and me left the house when my dad did these things to my mom, and I didn't like it, and it really hurt me, and especially when I have another one, but Stacy thinks that Josie is her sister, but really they're not really sisters. She just makes things up. And I know Josie, and Josie knows my mom and knows my dad real well. And me and Josie are being good friends, and Stacy and I are friends too. We share things a lot with each other.
Thank you, Tiffany. We have two last readers. Stacy Lizotte is our next one. Is it Lizotte or Lizotte? I'm sorry. Lizotte.
My first one is called My Soul Is. The whale that swims in the blue water, the whale that jump in the water, the whale that likes to swim with other fish that swims in the ocean too, the whale that smells like a dead skunk in the water, the whale that tastes like a shrimp, that sounds like a rushing water, that feels like a slippery snail that crawls on the sidewalk, that dreams about being a shark swimming in the salty ocean, the whale that is afraid of big giant killer whales, the blue baby whale that is happy when she swims in the ocean by herself. When she swims by herself, she can look up out of the water. She can see the blue sky. The next one is called Swimming Pool and the Dancing Room. I was swimming in the dancing water, and then I was climbing on the ladder, and then I fell and hit my head on the concrete. Then I was rescued, and now I dance. And my last one is called The Big White Whale. The big white whale that swims under the big blue ocean, and when she looks up from the water, she could see the full white moon in the black dark sky, and also the white stars that are also in the black dark sky. She sees other white whales that swims in the ocean too. One of the white whales had a baby white whale. There are also some fish that also swims in the ocean. She could also see the seahorse, and it feels so good to blow the water out of my hole that is on top of my head. One day, a fisherman was fishing and accidentally got a big fish hook in the mother's whale that had the baby whale. The mother died, so now the baby is all alone in the big ocean. But I came along and adopted the baby whale, white whale, as my own. And
Thank you, Stacy. And last we have Bob Smith with Bridget to help him.
Bridget, yay, Bridget.
Hello. The first is an I Remember poem by Bob. I
I remember when I was born in Butte. Me and my sister Natty got in trouble. I used to get in a fight with Natty. I used to pull her hair out. Natty didn't like that. She used to scream. I'd say, "You baby, knock that off, Natty. Stop calling yourself a baby." I used to play football. I used to play basketball in Butte, and football and baseball. I played first base. I'd aim the ball at that window. I didn't get in trouble because they didn't catch me, didn't catch anybody. I used to play baseball in recess. The principal said, "Get your tail in here." I didn't care. I'm going to play baseball, football too. When I was sick, my mother said, "Get in here, Bob." But I'd say, "I'm not sick." I felt better when I played for Butte High Bulldogs. I remember the bully in Butte. "You give the basketball back to me or I'll call the cops on you." Then he'd bring it right over too. I remember the dogs, Pierre and Porky. Pierre was the little one. He followed me all the time, would want me to pet him. He liked me, would jump on me all the time. I'd say, "Pierre." Porky's the big dog. That dog's mean. He got hit by a car. He was barking at everybody. I said, "Get away from here. My dog will bite you." My dog never bit anybody. Kids were kicking at the dog, being mean, and throwing a rock at the dog. I used to have friends in Butte, too. Used to dump garbage out, mow the lawn, and got money for myself. I used to help everybody out in Butte. Rake the yard, clear the sidewalk. People said, "Thank you, Bob. How much money you want?" I'd say, "I don't need no money. I'm just helping out." Old people and neighbors, I helped my mother, too. One man had a heart attack in Butte. He passed away when dumping garbage. I said, "Your husband passed away. I saw it with my own eyes." "Thank you, boy, for coming in and telling me that. I didn't know that he'd passed away." My mother had a heart attack and passed away and died. I used to have a bathtub in Butte, would take them all the time. I went to church in Butte. My mother went to church. Everybody used to go to church. My sister Natty, too. I remember I went train riding in Butte. My mother went to the store all the time in Butte. She would take my father and me for a ride. We'd get some fresh air. The next one is getting lost. I lost myself for good. I couldn't find my way home. I had lost myself. I was at camp. Nobody was around me, so I laid down and took a little nap. That's where I lost myself. The police were looking for me. The dog hounds were looking for me. Everybody, even the cook, was looking for me. Then someone yelled, "Here's Bobby now." George, he found me. I said, "I don't know where I am. I couldn't find where my home was." I knew I was lost. George told me, "Ask someone next time where you are," so I could find my way home, back to the cabin. George told me someone could have kidnapped me. I'll ask where I am next time I'm lost. And our last poem is Two Truths and a Lie. 1. I was in the St. Patrick's Day parade down by the theater. 2. When walking, I'd wave, hold a sign, then have to pick splinters out of my hand. 3. The parade went right through the field house and back downtown to the theater.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bridget. We just want to take a moment, the students and I, to thank the people who really made this happen. So, Janet, these are for you. Thanks for actually finding the money to make this work. And Cheryl, these are for you. Thanks for the wonderful idea and coming and showing us how to do it this couple times. And this is one of our shirts that we made for Daryl. Unfortunately, he must have had some emergency, along with David Faust, to not be able to make it tonight. But we didn't tie-dye it because we know how many meetings Daryl has to attend to, so we wanted him to be able to wear this at his business meeting. This has our names instead. And then I have something real quick for each of the students who are really the people I need to thank the most. Trenny, here you go. Card.